Open Espresso Rec using Microsoft Excel. Click Yes to open the file as read-only. Imagine you had a reference in your ledger for Mrs. Smith for £10. Imagine the data you're reconciling to had Miss Jones, £10. Click the Reconcile button. Mrs. Smith and Miss Jones are shown as unreconciled amounts. If you know that they should be reconciled despite having different references, say Miss Jones has become married and is now called Mrs. Smith, you can manually tell Espresso Rec to match these items by placing the letter A for pre-allocate in columns E and K. Doing this will match off these items before Espresso Rec even looks at any other item. Returning to the question sheet and placing an A for pre-allocate next to the original data, if we now have another item on the right hand side, Mrs. Smith, £10, and click the Reconcile button, we can see that this new item is left unreconciled. This is because, despite having the same reference and same value, because Mrs. Smith and Miss Jones had an A next to them, they were matched off before Espresso Rec looked at any other item of data. Returning to the question sheet. If we had two Mrs. Smiths, both with £10, but we knew that they were both not to be reconciled, maybe they are different Mrs. Smiths, and placing a H for hold in columns E and K will prevent them from being reconciled. Returning once again to the question sheet, click the Clear This Sheet button. Placing H's in columns E and K to tell Espresso Rec to ignore items can be very useful when reconciling using the Total Per Reference checkbox. For example, if you had data on the left that said Supplier X £2, Supplier X £5, Supplier X £21, and if you had data on the right that said Supplier X £7, then if you click the Reconcile button, nothing will be reconciled. Clicking the Use Total Per Reference checkbox, and then the Reconcile button, still leaves everything unreconciled. However, if you know that the amount for £21 on the left hand side is a late payment or late invoice, or for some other reason should not be included in your reconciliation, then placing a H in column E then clicking the Reconcile button allows the item for £7 on the right to be matched with the total of the unh'd items, the items not on hold, on the left.